Today I'm going to talk about my 10 must-have products that I use for magazine, collage, and mixed media. So, I have tons and tons and tons and tons of art supplies. That's my jam. One of my goals in life is to have as many art supplies as I want, to be able to buy as many art supplies as I want. But I have a gal on my YouTube channel who asked me to give her a list of 10 art supplies that she absolutely needs to get started with collage, magazine collage, mixed media. And so today I'm going to tell you the 10 things I think you need. So number one is paper. Okay, this is mixed media paper. I use a relatively cheap version from Michael's, or you can get this at, I know, Dick Blick's, or you can get it lots of different places. But this is called mixed media paper. And the difference between mixed media paper and, say, watercolor paper. So watercolor paper is going to accept water really well. Mixed, and if you try to do mixed media where you're doing sprays and gels and inks and you're going to wind up soaking your paper and maybe making it weird, okay? You can also buy, these are little $3, $4 journals that you can buy from Diane Reevely and do mixed media art in them. So here is my art journal. I have a video about this and I will link to that. These pages are made of heavier paper, so they will take the stapling and the gels and the things, and so that's a way to do it. So you don't have to spend a ton, but you should try to get some decent paper. That having been said, I have used all kinds of stuff for mixed media. If you're going to use, say, a composition book, which I have used in the past, I'm seeing if I can find something. So I used a planner, right? So this was just a super cheap planner. This one's kind of in process. And functionally what I did was I just made some cardboard pages to put in here. But if you're going to do this, you want to coat it with gesso. I don't have gesso as one of my 10 things, but you can use gesso as a like to make something a background that isn't really a background. That's why it's all white on the back. The cardboard's all white because I put a layer of gesso on everything. So you don't have to buy amazing paper, but oh shoot, here's some kind of paper. All right, I got this on sale at Michael's the other day. It was $2. It was on clearance. And I got 100 sheets, 65 pounds. So what happens is they give you the weight in pounds. So this paper is thicker than, say, typing paper that I wrote my list on. So that's something to look at. All right, so that is paper. Yay, yes, we got paper. Next is magazines. Okay, even if you are not a magazine collage artist, magazines can be an excellent source for things like backgrounds or even looking at patterns. Like that's a really cool pattern you could use for a background. I tend to find that I like certain kinds of magazines. This is a Belle, an Australian issue. This is from my father-in-law. He gets fancy magazines. I ask everybody to give me their old magazines. Like that would make an amazing little part of a collage. This would make a really cool item. You could turn it around and make it a hat. Let's talk about magazine pages. This is a very expensive, shiny magazine, right? Some of the magazines aren't as expensive. Like I get Birds in Bloom and they are not as expensive. One of my other favorites is Elle magazine. And I want to talk about where I get these cheap. So I don't want you to think all my magazines, ooh, how cool is that, are as fancy as this one. Ooh, and he gave me a whole bunch of these other pages that he tore out that he thought were cool. I have the best father-in-law. All right, so you can also get So you can ask every human being you ever meet to save you their magazines, and some people will say, oh my gosh, I have a whole boatload of those in the back room. You can have them all. You can also go to eBay, and I order, if you search for Lot Magazine, Lot L Magazine, Lot Vintage Magazine, you can get all kinds of magazines. I never pay more than, I would say $2, but usually I try to shoot for $1 plus shipping. Now there's some magazines that are super fun. Like I really like the National Geographic Kids ones because they have lots of cool animals in them. But you get whatever kind of magazine that you want. Oh, I need that magazine back. I am making a picture of this at the end. One magazine I thought I would like that I didn't like was National Geographic. Their photography isn't very good, and the quality of the magazine's kind of weird, at least the newer ones. The older ones you can do some fun stuff with. Number 3, glue sticks or glue. Okay, I use Yoo-Hoo stick a lot, but mine's dried out because I didn't shut it. I just started using these Diane Reevely Diary glue sticks. They're very nice. I feel like they do well. And then I have a million different kinds of glue. You want to figure out what kind of glue you like the best. I just ordered some more glue because I'm struggling with glue right now. I haven't found a glue. I've tried this Smart Glue, but it's sticky. And other people like sticky stuff. I just don't like sticky stuff, okay? But I would say if you can only afford something, get these Diane Reevely art sticks or glue sticks, because you can get like 3 for $4 on Amazon. Okay, so you need some kind of glue to stick your stuff down. While we talk about glue, let's go into the difference between scrapbookers and art journalers. Okay. Scrapbookers are making something to last for eternity, to give to their children, to do all that. I'm making something to amuse myself overnight, right? So you'll hear a lot is that archival quality, will it turn brown, will things happen like that? If you are looking for archival quality glue, meaning that it will never turn brown, it won't, I don't know what all the properties of archival quality stuff is, but you would have to use different things than this. Like, I don't think a scrapbooker would ever use a glue stick. They would use a type of glue that is more long-term friendly. Okay, Mod Podge. I am in love with Mod Podge. So, I would do a glue stick for sure because they're very cheap. If you don't want to get any other kind of glue, you can just use Mod Podge for your glue and to stick things down and to decoupage things. If I could only have one, I would pick the matte just because it has more uses. I love the gloss because it makes things shiny, and I like shiny things. It also provides a protective coating, which I love. But Mod Podge, what you do is you use a paintbrush, you wipe it, or a blending tool or anything. You use you put it on, you stick your thing on it, and then you put it down, and then you go over it again with Mod Podge, and it sticks very, very well. Here is something that I use constantly. I feel like my top 10 are a lot of adhesive related things, but it is so much easier to grab a piece of double-sided tape. Now this is a special kind of double-sided tape. Let me see if I have any of the red kind. So there's a red kind of double-sided tape that you have to cut, and then this kind of double-sided tape that tears with your hands. I like this very much. You could also, instead of, this is a dot roller, see PhotoSafe. PhotoSafe, that's what scrapbookers like, right? I don't know that this is PhotoSafe. But this is a roller, kind of like, you know how you can do whiteout on rollers and things like that. This is also very nice, but if I had to pick between the two, I would do this. I like the control I have with this, and these are always very sticky. There's also red tape that is the stickiest, but for most of what I do, I don't need to have red tape. All right, markers or paint pens? I use paint pens all the time. So let's talk about the difference between a Sharpie marker and a Posca paint pen. Sharpie markers cost less, right? And they are an oil-based writing. So if you're trying to write on top of paint, acrylic paint or any other kind of paint, they may not ever set, right? There's a good chance, or there's a chance that they will never set. But if you're writing directly on your paper and not writing on your mixed media, then Sharpie markers are amazing. I will show you what I mean by this. Okay, so I was writing with a Sharpie marker. Okay, here we go. I'll show you. Here, right? So this is a paint pen, right? These are paint pens, and they work really well when you're writing on top of paint and layers of stuff. Now, I was using a Sharpie marker in here, and it was so easy because you're writing directly on paper, so the Sharpie marker gets to have contact with paper. It likes paper better than it likes layers of stuff. Now, that having been said, if you can only afford a Sharpie marker, then get a Sharpie marker. Now, paint pens. Why they are so cool. So a paint pen will write on nearly anything. Like, it will write on acrylic paint, it will write on glue, it will write on anything. I really like the Posca paint pens. If you can only afford one paint pen, I would get the smaller version of this one. So I think it's 0.9 mm's that I like the best. But for these have actual paint in them. You have to shake them up, and then you push them down, and then the paint goes into that little nib of the paint pen. So you need something to write with. Even if it's only to outline things, I almost always outline my my magazine collages when I get done. It kind of pulls them together. Acrylic paint. This is the best thing that ever happened to mixed media people. You can buy acrylic paint at Michael's or your other favorite local craft store, sometimes for 50 cents a can or jar. I usually spend, sometimes I go all nuts and I buy the $1.29 paint. But you can buy a ton of different colors, and this works great on layers. You can use it on tissue paper. You can use it on backgrounds. You can, like, I use acrylic. Oh, gel plates. Gel plates is something you don't need to have, but you can use this with stencils. You can use it with so many different things that it's definitely worthwhile to get some acrylic paint. Okie doke. Next is, speaking of stencils. Okay. I am a stencil nut. And I'm a stencil nut, first off, because I quite like patterns. I think that doing a pattern is very nice as far as the repetition and things like that. That having been said, the main reason I use stencils is because I'm not super artistic, right? Like, for me to draw these would be not cute. It would just kind of look like a 5-year-old had done it. But if I use a stencil, I can make an amazing background. I use these on regular backgrounds, right? So those ones I showed you before are all just through a stencil, where I just see a stencil, stencil, stencil. You can get stencils with words. You can get stencils with lots of different things. And you can use them on gel plates. You can use them for lots of different stuff. So stencils are one of my favorite things. I have a huge collection of them. I'm a little addicted. Okay, next let's talk acrylic stamps and ink. If you only get one kind of ink, you could get Ranger Archival. I've had this forever. It is acid-free. Oh, acid-free is the other thing that they say for the scrapbookers. This is a really good archival ink. It means that it's archival quality, obviously. But it is made of oil rather than being water-based, so you can put this on, same way you can put the paint pens on anything. You can use this on anything. And then I tend to like scripty stamps, and there's Biggie. You know he's got to go potty since I'm talking. And then you want to get some stamps. Now I like, these are called, these are called pink something backed stamps. And they are, they last longer, right? You can also buy, I don't have any, you can also buy clear, like jelly kind of ones. Those won't last as long, but they are much cheaper. So I think that you should try to find stamps that you will use frequently. Like I wouldn't buy a bird stamp because once I use that first, right? Eventually I might buy a bird stamp, but I wouldn't buy a bird stamp first because once you use that bird stamp, you've used it, and you can't really, like, then it's like you would be reusing it over and over and over again, where this is a background stamp or this is a background, like a border, would make a really good border or background, and then you can use whatever materials you want underneath it, and it would be super interesting. So for sure, stamps are on my list of things that you should get, and some archival black ink. If you you could get StazOn too. All right, both of those are the same. Next is tissue paper. All right. I use tissue paper all the time, and this is super cheap, like as cheap as you can buy. It's like $27 a ream on Amazon. You could use tissue paper that you collect from your presents. You could ask all your friends to save their tissue paper. This is spray ink on tissue paper. This is paint through a stencil on a gel plate, but you could just do paint through a stencil on tissue paper. I use tissue paper for backgrounds. I use tissue paper for layers. I use tissue paper for lots of things. So if I could, this is number 10, if I could only have 10 things that I could buy as a magazine, collage, or mixed media, I would also add tissue paper. Now, one last thing. I cheated because one last thing I would buy that's kind of a one-off. I tried to make things that you could use with any of your projects, but this is kind of a one-off. These are snips, so you can buy little yellow and black snips. I've had blue snips. These are Tim Holtz snips. What they are is super pointy, right? Super sharp scissors that let you cut out magazine images a lot better. So if you're just doing mixed media, you don't have to cut out little tiny things. These may not be important to you, but if I was going to, I think they're like $15. I know based on how much I spend on all my art supplies, but this was really a suck it up buttercup kind of thing. I like having snips to use for my magazine collage. So hopefully that helps give you an idea. Now, I was thinking about maybe doing a little course, like a super cheap course about how to use all these in magazine collage. If you'd like that, please leave a comment below, and also click like on this and sign up to my channel. Click the subscribe button if you would like to see more fun videos. Tara Jacobson, Artsy Fartsy Life.